What's up, everyone? Welcome to Backlog and Beyond, the podcast where we talk about the old video games we want to beat and the new ones we play instead. I'm your host, Nathan Hawkins.
And I'm your other host, Jeff Zavatero, and this is episode 5. I wrote it down.
Yeah, you wrote it down. First, I want to say thank you because we see your downloads. We see that you guys are listening. We really appreciate the support. It's just we're having a blast with this, and to see that people are actually continually downloading and listening, it's very exciting. So again, thank you for your support. We appreciate it. So we had a lot of news actually to run through. Like tons of stuff happened last week. Like so much to where we can't even. I don't think we'll be able to talk about it all, obviously, but we can just kind of run through it. But before we get into any of that, Jeff, what did you get to play this past week?
I downloaded The Last of Us 2. I'm playing that. I'm not going to say anything else about it. I've been playing Hue, H-U-E. It's an older game, but it's on the Switch now and got it on sale. It's pretty dope. It's like a platformer, but you unlock different colors. And so say you come up on an orange wall that you can't get past. If you have unlocked orange, you change the background to orange so that the wall disappears.
Oh, that's cool.
So you use the different colors to traverse the levels. It's pretty dope. I'm having a good time. I'm playing Pokemon Sword. I never beat it, even though I bought it on day one. Because it's the same as every other Pokemon game, but I don't have any emotional attachment to any of them. But
nice.
The new DLC was coming out, and I thought it was time to get the 8th gym badge.
Nice.
And then we played some Spy Party. I played before you, and then we played together. That game is super duper fun.
Yes.
And I'm trying to get more people to get it so I could play some more, because I don't like playing with strangers.
Yeah, that seems like that would be kind of awkward, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. There's one guy always online. He has 3,000 wins in each mode. No thanks.
I don't play against you. Want to play against Nathan, who's like never played.
Yeah, and still 50. I still suck.
Yeah, I think we actually I did pretty well for my first time.
Yeah.
Don't mind if I, don't what's the saying? Don't. Never mind. Cool. Yeah. Well, I'll probably want to talk to you later too about the Last of Us Part 2, because we probably should figure out what we consider spoilers and not spoilers, because the last thing I want to do is spoil anything major on the podcast. But if we can talk about like small beats, maybe that could be a thing. But for now, we'll table it and we can kind of discuss those details. Yeah, exactly. But I also played. Well, actually, I'll go through what I played, I guess. Yeah. I rolled the credits on Left Behind. Again, I feel kind of indifferent for the fact that it exists, because, I did enjoy it for the relationship, but again, I was like, well, I already knew everything that was going to happen.
Yeah, like surprise,
honestly,
she gets back to Joel in time.
Exactly. How I didn't know that was going to happen.
Joel.
Yeah, I honestly think they could have just literally added it into the middle of the story for the remastered version.
Yeah, that would have been. I would have loved that.
That would have been cool.
Kind of like what they did for Watchmen when they added Tales of the Black Freighter.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome.
Yeah.
They kind of intermingled it. And I think that would have been really cool to do that, because then you could have actually had some, almost like a nice break from the Joel and Ellie, to have the Ellie and Riley story.
Yeah.
So.
I guess maybe they wanted to add the ambiguity of what happened to Joel if it was your first time playing, because the whole thing with the rabbit scene, you really don't know that Joel is still alive until you find out that she really wants antibiotics.
Right.
So, I see the reasoning, but would have fit better. They should have just made it a story so I don't feel like I'm going back.
Right. Yeah, well, Jeff and I were joking earlier, because there's no spoilers, but there's a huge break in time, or a break in space, I guess, in Last of Us Part 2. And we're like, so they just skipped that entire journey? It's like 1,000 miles they just skipped.
I guess all 1,000 miles were clear and free.
Exactly.
They did that in the first game too. When you go to the last hospital, surprise, we're here.
Oh yeah, they did.
We didn't run into anyone the whole time.
Yeah, no, it's true. I guess at some point they kind of have to give you a break and say, okay, let's just get to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we played Spy Party. That was fun. I think the hardest part about Spy Party, I've noticed, is trying to make sure that you actually walk like an NPC, because I feel like that's how you caught me sometimes. Like I would
You just
accidentally
inched
scooch
closer.
over.
Yeah. You're like, I gotta get closer to the ambassador.
Yeah, and then like the idea of swapping statues is like almost pointless because
Yeah.
you almost are aware like the fact that the sniper is just going to be eyeing those things and memorizing the order. So unless like you're there already and you can just quickly do it before the sniper can get their bearings, you have to skip the swapping of the statues. Like it's just
I did a daily challenge where the only thing that the computer was going to be doing, I was a sniper, the computer was the spy. The only thing they'd be doing was bugging the ambassador. And I followed the ambassador and they still won. Like,
wow.
Apparently you could do it just walking by them. I'm just not that good at it.
Yeah, neither am I.
I had to like stand next to them and talk to them.
Yeah, and then like inch closer.
But like I saw a woman like brush by the ambassador and then it's like, oh, you lost. He was a spy.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm loving that game. That's really fun playing with you.
$25.
Yeah.
It's a high price, but per hour, I think eventually
you'd mix up.
It'll make up for it.
Oh yes, definitely. Let's see here. To the Moon, I'm really close. Like I know I'm
can't
close.
believe you haven't beaten it yet.
I know I've gone through all of the memories and like they're at the point where like nothing's working. But dude, the montage where they're trying to like get Joey, or is it Joey? They're trying to get him to they're like trying to give him a reason why he wants to go to the moon. And the school presentation for NASA was so funny. Do you remember that?
It's been a while. Can you refresh me?
He's like talking like, and then like I forget what I was saying. People who go to the moon are rich and wealthy and they're happy, and he's like trying to like give all these great reasons for why he should join NASA and go to the moon at the school presentation. It was so funny because it kept blacking out and kept fading back in, and he'd say something else really stupid, and it was really stupid. But yeah, so I'm really close finishing that. And then I started. So what happened to me was for some reason when you said that Last of Us Part 2 had downloaded, I was like, oh, okay, so it probably downloaded, but I didn't even like think to check.
Yeah.
And of course, the morning of I was gonna play Last of Us Part 2, it wasn't on my system. I was like, great. So I'm like downloading. It's like hour and a half. I was like, well, that's just like my whole morning gone. So I'm like, nah, screw this. So I started Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and holy crap, that game is amazing so far. Like, the entire time I feel super uneasy. The sound design is so well done because like you're constantly hearing these voices talk to you. The combat feels really good. Not totally intuitive, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty good. And honestly, like I feel like I'm playing a version of God of War because it feels almost identical in its look and the voice acting and the style. Because it's all the same. It's all the same. What's the word I'm looking for?
I have no idea.
Shoot. My God, I can't come up with the word. It's Nordic, not Nordic.
Like the same dev team, like.
No, the same mythology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the same mythology as God of War. I can't believe I'm blanking on it right now. It's the
Norse,
new Assassin's Creed game, Viking. What's their?
It's like Norse.
Yeah, thank you. Norse mythology. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So it's Norse mythology. It feels almost exactly like God of War. It's awesome. But what's really crazy about it is the very beginning of the game, you're actually told that if you keep dying, there's like this rot that grows on your body. Oh. And eventually if the rot gets to your brain, you lose all progress and die permanently.
Dang.
It's like a permadeath. Like I'm like, whoa, this is intense.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying it. So there's that. And of course, eventually I played The Last of Us Part 2. Today, this morning, I got up at 3:30 in the morning and I played till like 6. And I remember just staring at moss on a rock for like 15 minutes. It looked so good. The game looks really good. I thought the colors were like made it look more natural than Red Dead Redemption because that was like my bar before this. I feel like Red Dead Redemption's a bit more saturated. Interesting.
But this one's a bit more realistic in color, so I'm liking this one so far.
I think for me what it was the lighting that made the difference. The way it actually hit the foliage. Mm-hmm. That's what I think made the difference. I don't know exactly what the difference in technology is, but the god rays that they had going on in that game, they look a lot better than Red Dead. But still, I'm a huge Red Dead fan, so I really can't say anything bad about it.
I really liked that they kind of recapped the ending of the first game,
Yes,
and then they
I
did it
love that.
completely in like the new engine. So you
Yes.
like right off the bat, you could see how much they improved this game.
Yes, and it was great because especially going from like playing the Last of Us, the first one to part 2,
Mhm.
and you literally just remember in your mind what it looked like.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, this is different.
Yeah, but like to me, it made like in the flashbacks, Joel looked like 20 years older. Like,
Yeah.
so I had a
he
really
kinda
hard,
did.
I had a hard time like figuring out how long the game delay was. I'm like, has it been? That's all I'm gonna say. It's just yeah. So he like the detail just made him look much older.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably just because to remind us that we're that old.
Yeah. Sure.
Like, you've been waiting for this game that long. When?
Yeah. Can
But
I want
anyway.
to say something about the game that is non-spoilery.
Yes.
Unless you, well, I mean, have you picked up a guitar yet in that game?
Yes, I have. Oh wait, like as an Ellie?
Well, yeah. Like, have you played guitar in that game yet?
Oh yes, as Joel. Yes.
I was so the fact that you can not only go to like the different notes, but
Yes.
every part of the touchpad you touch is a different string on the guitar. Like you could
Yes.
legitimately play guitar. That was insane to me.
Yeah, I thought that was such a cool moment. It reminded me of Ocarina of Time, because in Legend of Zelda you can actually adjust the pitch of every single note,
Oh.
and you can pretty much play any song you want on the Ocarina in Ocarina of Time.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's just the four I think yellow buttons, and then all it is just moving the joystick up and down to like slide the notes.
I'll have to. Well, I mean, maybe someday I'll play that game.
Yeah, no, you really should. If
I've tried a few times.
yeah, no, it's rough, especially if you're playing with next gen stuff, and but I don't know. I need to finish it at some point.
It's only a matter
really
of time before they remake it because they ran out of ideas.
If they remake it, I am so down.
Yeah,
like 100% behind it. Anyway, yeah, so that's what we've been playing. So let's move on to some big news points. We're just gonna run through these, not really in-depth conversation, but a lot happened last week. IGN Summer of Gaming happened, where they had like a ton of brand new trailers, ton of game title reveals. They basically had their own expo to replace E3.
Mm-hmm.
So even though E3 wasn't around this year, there was plenty of gaming announcements, plenty of celebrations for the gaming industry that happened. So it didn't matter the fact that E3 was canceled.
Yeah.
Upload VR had their showcase. So there was like a ton of VR games that were released, not released but announced. PC Gaming had their show. Guerrilla Collective, Pokemon Presents, EA Play. They announced a new Skate game. They announced Squadrons.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything that you like got to check out?
Well, I mean, Pokemon Presents. They announced Pokemon Snap, a new one.
Yes,
gonna be dope.
That's right.
And then it looks like they're going to announce a new Pokemon Let's Go game next. So I'll probably talk about that because they're doing the conference this week on the 23rd about exclusively Pokemon stuff.
That's awesome.
So we'll probably talk about that next episode.
There you go. That might be our next episode. Pokemon stuff. The big news, a couple of big ones. Cyberpunk delayed again from September 17th to November 19th. I guess there was a letter that was written from the co-founder Mark Wensky and head of studio Adam Badowski. So this is what they wrote. They said, "We have decided to move the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 from September 17th to November 19th, blah, blah, blah. Those of you who are familiar with the way we make games know that we won't ship something which is not ready. Ready when it's done is not just a phrase we say because it sounds right. It's something we live by even when we know we'll take the heat for it. At the same time, we are fully aware that making such a decision costs us your trust, and trading trust for additional time is one of the hardest decisions a game developer can make. And despite we think it's the right decision for the game, we'd still like to apologize for making you wait longer. Our intention is to make Cyberpunk 2077 something that will stay with you for years to come. In the end, we hope you understand why we did what we did." At the time we were writing these words, Cyberpunk is finished both content and gameplay-wise. The quests, the cutscenes, the skills and items, all the adventures Night City has to offer, it's all there. But with such an abundance of content and complex systems interweaving with each other, we need to properly go through everything, balance game mechanics, and fix a lot of bugs. A huge world means a huge number of things to iron out, and we will spend the additional time doing exactly that. So they kind of went on a little bit more, but basically, according to IGN, they've actually confirmed that the Cyberpunk 2077 will still be having its Night City Wire presentation on June 25th, and previews of the game will be live right after that. So
And
yeah,
so journalists still get to play it right now. So
Yep.
it's done and they're sending it out. They're just choosing not to let people play it.
yeah, they have like a bunch of bugs, I guess, to fix, but I don't know if that's actually true.
I mean,
but who knows?
I'm sure it is, and it would have been very easy just to say it's COVID related because everyone's working from home.
Yeah, that they could have said that too. It's a
Um,
very good point.
But they didn't, which
No,
part of me is like, it does have something to do with it, but it was nice that they didn't blame it on that, I guess.
right. But
Um,
honestly, like I at this point, I think I'm just gonna wait for it on the PS5.
yeah,
Like
like
if it's November,
it was announced in May of 2012. When did the PlayStation 4 come out?
Oh my god. 20 was it 20 not 2016.
2013. This game was
Oh.
announced before the PlayStation 4 came out. And we like that is too long. Like
That's insane.
they're
But it just goes to show you that these AAA games that where they put this kind of level of detail in, and for a smaller studio, because at the time CD Projekt Red, they were working on Witcher 3, they were still considered like an indie publisher,
I know.
indie developer.
But like I don't think anyone should announce a game that far ahead of release.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
I shouldn't be hanging on for a couple details every year for 8 years.
Yes. The hype dies eventually.
Yeah, like to me, this isn't even a day one purchase. Like,
Right.
I'll wait till it's like $20.
I'm honestly gonna wait for the PS5 upgrade.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's what I'm gonna probably do.
And
As
I
badly
heard,
as I want to play it, I'm gonna wait.
I heard rumblings that it was going to be one of the games where if you get it for PS4, you get the PS5 version. But
Yes, that's been announced.
yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
don't-
anyway, and then the other big news: Crash Bandicoot 4 was leaked last week.
Mhm.
Now you guys are listening to this on a Tuesday, so technically there's a good chance that you've actually heard more information since we're talking now, because we're talking on a Sunday night.
It's
so
Father's Day
tomorrow
today.
morning for us, yeah, it's Father's Day today. So tomorrow they're apparently going to announce Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Mhm.
So that, but I guess what happened was, it was rated for PS4 and Xbox One by the Taiwan Digital Game Rating Committee. And I guess this guy on Twitter, his name's Jamatsu or Himatsu. He spotted the listing, I guess. So I guess it appeared on some kind of like Taiwan game rating site or something, and then it got removed like immediately after. But I guess the official box art was on there. It also actually had a short description of the game. It said, Crash is relaxing and exploring his island in this time, 1998, when he finds a mysterious mask hidden away in a cave, Lani Loli. The mask is one of the quantum masks and apparently knows Aku Aku, Crash's mask friend. With the quantum masks returning and a quantum rift appearing near our heroes, they decide to bravely head through to different times and dimensions to stop whoever was responsible. Now, what does that sound like?
Avengers.
That sounds almost identical to the new Ratchet and Clank video. Ratchet and Clank video game.
Right.
The whole rift in time dimension, and but also what's interesting is that there's box art for Xbox Series X. So even though Crash was originally like the PlayStation's, what's the word?
Exclusive.
Thank you. It's exclusive. It seems like it's going to be on both consoles.
I mean, it does make sense. Like the re-release was on all of the consoles. Is it being made by Naughty Dog?
That I don't know, actually.
I don't imagine it is, because I think Naughty Dog's
Yeah.
owned by PlayStation now.
Yeah, I think you're
So
right.
they must have given up the IP.
Right.
Because that's disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean,
so-
the company that remade the series did a great job. So if it's them, awesome.
Right.
But yeah.
So yeah, so there's that. So crazy stuff happened. Also, think it's going to happen coming up. Obviously, the Pokemon, or is it Nintendo Presents conference this week, or is it Pokemon conference?
Well, it's just going to be about Pokemon.
Gotcha. So that's happening. Also, Wednesday, June 23rd, will be the Marvel's Avenger War Table stream, which is with Square Enix at 10 a.m. And they're going to be going into more details for their Marvel's Avenger game.
Mm-hmm.
And then CD Projekt Red will be having their live stream also on sorry,
Wednesday.
did I say tomorrow? Sorry, June 23rd is the Marvel's Avengers. June 24th is the CD Projekt Red live stream. So that's what's going on. So it's a lot going on this summer. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, this would have been E3 month, so it makes sense.
Yep, exactly. So yeah. So with that, let's move right into video game taboo. It's really funny. I'm starting to notice that I'm actually getting like some duplicates.
Yeah,
which kind of
this
helps.
Doesn't seem to have everything.
No, it doesn't. So maybe I need to find another list generator or something. But I'll get my timer ready here.
Oh, this is good. Okay.
I guess I'll describe first, I think.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay. Stopwatch. No, timer. There we go. All right. Okay. And away we go. Okay. Kratos is the main character.
God of War.
And not the first, but the
2.
Yes. Okay. This is a first-person shooter war game.
Call of Duty.
It's the other one, the other big one.
Oh, Battlefield 5. 4.
Not. It's a nope. Keep going.
3.
Yes. Okay. This one has the Sega's beloved character,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, but it's not that one. It's it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna skip it. The pirate version for the stealth game.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yes. Not a glass, but a you drink out of
Cup.
this. Yep. And,
Cuphead.
Yep. And then
was it Sonic Forces?
No, it's
Sonic Generations.
It sounds like no, it's got Tails and it's got
go ahead. I'm not gonna know it now.
Yeah, exactly. It's a phobia. Another word for phobia.
Fear.
Yes, not the first, but the
2.
Yes. Okay, and then this one I played. It's a platformer, really difficult. Absolutely loved it.
It's Celeste.
Yes. And then so this other game that I'm trying to figure out how to describe. It's like when you're dang it. Oh my god. It's kind of sounds like Arcadia, but it's like the last half of that of Cadia. Sounds like Cadia.
Sadia. Radio.
Time's up.
What was it?
Sonic Mania.
Oh.
I've never played that game, so I had no idea.
Okay.
How to.
That game's actually dope.
Okay. Well,
it includes like original Sonic levels, but like they're mixed in with new Sonic levels that look exactly the same.
Oh,
aesthetic.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
This is gonna be
well. Now I know. Yeah. So
this
I can explain.
This is gonna be rough. So
Okay, that's fine. Just tell me when you're ready to go, and I'll push start.
All right. So ready, set, a go. So this is the latest Dark Knight game. Came out a few years ago.
Dark Knight. Batman Arkham City.
The one after that.
Arkham Asylum, not Asylum. Arkham
Blank of the Round Table. I kind of already said the word.
Arkham Round. What?
Blank.
Arkham Knight?
Blank of the Round Table. Yeah, Arkham Knight. There you go.
Arkham Knight.
Okay.
Yeah, Arkham Knight.
We're playing the sequel right now.
Last of Us Part 2. So it's Last of Us.
Yes. Okay. This is the latest game. The movies feature Luke Skywalker.
Star Wars. Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes. Okay. The opposite of big.
Little.
And then
Small?
the second, little, and then the second word, bad dream.
Little Nightmare.
Yeah. Okay. And then before Valhalla, the most recent stealth killing game.
Oh, Assassin's Creed. Odyssey.
Yes. Okay. How old? Or this is 3 words. First word, how old you are.
Age.
Okay.
Age of Empires.
Yeah. There we go. Wow. Yes. This one is 4 words. The second word is the sickness that happened.
Plague.
Yes. And then the third word is it grows from animals' behinds.
What?
They wag it.
Plague Tail.
Yeah.
A Plague of Tail. Shoot.
You're so cool. Yeah.
Plague of Tail. Plague of Two Tails.
Yeah. Plague Tail, and then not guilty.
All right, time's
innocence.
up.
Yeah.
Time's up.
These are cool. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. I skipped XCOM 2 because how do you explain that? And you almost got Plague Tale Innocence. Wow.
I just realized I skipped Pokemon Go.
So I got
what an idiot.
I got 6.5 too.
All right, cool. Look at that. We're getting closer.
I know we're actually on the same.
I think that was like the best we've done.
I think that's the best we've done total. There's been one time where I got all 8.
Oh yeah, I mean like total, like as in overall.
Yeah, we got
but yeah, like
13 if you include 6.5.
That's amazing. Look at us go. All right, cool. Well, that was Video Game Taboo. Now we're gonna move on to something because there was so much news. I didn't really want to like talk about any of the news specifically because there was just way too much to focus on. But however, we are going to be talking about remakes and remasters. Remakes and remasters, they seem to become a trend, especially this year. There's tons of remakes, remasters. And first I want to go over the differences because actually I found another one. There's remakes, there's remasters, and there's reimaginings. So a remake takes what you know and love and remakes it into a better and more modern engine while keeping core gameplay intact. So examples of that are like Crash, Spyro. A remaster HD release, all it is crisper graphics to support HD televisions, and sometimes they update like achievements and stuff like that. So examples of that would be like Ratchet and Clank Trilogy, Jack and Daxter Trilogy. Reimagining, now the closest example would be like Final Fantasy VII. So it's still the story about Cloud and his friends stopping Sephiroth, but now it features a fully 3D world, there's RPG mechanics, there's all new looks for the characters, the world. So basically, if you were to like put them side by side between the 90s original and the modern release, you would see that the difference is like night and day. So this actually counts as a reimagining.
So Crash Bandicoot would be a remake.
Exactly.
Okay. And then
exactly.
Jack and Daxter is a remaster. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Exactly. So those are the differences. So like some of the recent remakes, remasters, reimaginings we've seen in the past, Shadow of the Colossus, Devil May Cry HD Edition, Dark Souls Remastered, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Yakuza Kiwami 2, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Assassin's Creed 3 Remaster, Crash Team Racing Nitro Refueled, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Medieval, Final Fantasy VII, Resident Evil 1 through 3, Mafia 2, The Last of Us, and we can go on. But there are a few that are coming out this year. We still have Mafia 1 coming out, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, Destroy All Humans, Pokemon Snap, Crisis Remastered, 13, Battletoads, and System Shock. So those are just a few of all of the remakes that are still to come, even though we've received a bunch already the first half of this year. So kind of what I wanted to do was go through some of the remakes, remasters, and even reimaginings that you would like to see happen.
Yeah. The more I thought about it, I went through my entire list of games. I went through my Nintendo, my PlayStation, everything. There's not a whole lot of games that I need a remake, remaster, or reimagine to happen. Like most of the time, I just want it ported. Like you look at like Medieval, that was super disappointing.
Right.
Destroy All Humans, I'm not sure why it needs it. I'm gonna play it, especially because it's gonna be my first time. Then you have like the Pokemon games, which all it is like a reskin, and instead of like using that environment to like tell a new story or tell a story, they just slap the new graphics from the last game onto an old game and then they're done. So I think, to me, especially if you're having to pay full price for it, it's an easy cash grab, and it's kind of annoying unless you're going to do it how Final Fantasy VII did it. I appreciated Final Fantasy VII because it acknowledged the original game. Like you're not going to get as much out of that game unless you played the original game.
Interesting.
And the ending, in a way that doesn't spoil it, is like, I guess I can't say anything about it except that it's only major significance is if you played and beat the original game.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like a parallel universe to the original.
That's true. That's true. I've heard of it. I did hear that was a thing.
Yeah. So in general, for the most part, like there are some done well, like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro are done crazy well, and they capture it in a way so that it looks like what it looked like to me when I was a kid. Like
exactly.
So that being said, I have a short list of games I would like to see remastered.
Cool.
The first of which being Red Dead Redemption. And I think that's partly just because Rockstar is known for like the scale and how they can make a game look, and the assets are already there because they pretty much remade most of the map.
Right.
Just got to carry over the dialogue.
Right.
And it's done. It's like, and then you could apply the same mechanics that you introduced in the second game. It's a slam dunk.
Right.
I don't know why it's not out yet. I would like to see Jak and Daxter remade in the same way that Crash Bandicoot was.
Okay, nice.
And then I would like it to follow the same path as Crash. I would like another Jak and Daxter game.
Nice.
Metal Gear Solid 1, only because every time they like re-release it, the first one always gets left behind because it's like PlayStation 1.
Yeah,
and it doesn't match anywhere up near to the other games in terms of graphics, so they kind of just leave it off.
Right.
And then Fable 2, I'd like to see remake. And I'd like to play that game again. Because I really liked Fable 3. Not a lot of people liked Fable. I did.
I don't know if I actually played Fable 3. I remember playing Fable, and I loved Fable.
Fable 3 was I'm pretty sure the first game you got, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I do remember playing Fable 3 now. Wasn't that one where you could like pick between being good and evil? Like,
yeah, and because I remember that was when I lived with you, and I woke up one day, and I came up to your room, and you all of a sudden had an Xbox 360, and you're playing Fable 3, and you're all, yeah.
That's right. I do remember Fable 3. That was such a good game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm looking at pictures of it right now. I'm like, I do remember this.
I just downloaded it for my PC, so I'm play it again.
So good. I might actually still have that on my Xbox.
Yeah, especially if you got it digitally. I don't know if you did.
I don't know if I did. I may have sold it. I'll have to check. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I liked the second one. If they included like the mechanics of the third one, put it on the second one, I think it'd be a great. So. Yeah, I included another game on it, but the more I thought about it, the more I just want it ported. Tomba. Have you ever heard of those games?
That sounds familiar, but
it's like this it's like this kid who just wears shorts and he has pink hair, and you're in this evil world of pigs, and you're just trying to defeat.
Yes, I have heard of. Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Though that game was dope for me, and I would love. I never played the sequel. And I would love to see them both on PlayStation 4.
There's a... I'm seeing Tomba HD Remastered starting block gameplay, PS1. That's weird. How's that remastered?
Yeah,
Yeah, PS1. That doesn't make sense. Anyway. That's awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't have too much difficulty with this. For remakes, I would love to see Conker's Bad Fur Day, the way that they did it.
I never played that one.
Oh, dude. Basically, it's like if Mario was an adult game, it's Conker's Bad Fur Day. There's so many dirty jokes. Like, just to give you an example of one of the jokes, there's this flower that she's covering herself with the leaves, and you have to get up to like the top of this mountain, but in order to get up to the top of the mountain, she has to help you get up there. But in order to do that, you have to, I forget what it is, you have to like bring her, you have to like find the bees and bring the bees for the bees to pollinate her.
Mm-hmm.
So what's funny is though, you find the bees and you destroy like this pitchfork that's trying to kill you. And you bring the bee to her, and the bee, like, they actually have like sex. Like, it's like awkward, like the bee and the flower pollinating.
How old were you when you played this game?
I was young. I was a kid. And the flower reveals her. She moves her leaves, and she's got like the largest breasts ever. And you actually have to jump on her breasts to get to the top of the mountain and use them as like a spring.
I think you playing this game as a child explains so much about your personality. And I can't believe you want to revisit it. This is what people go to therapy for. Like,
I want that. I'm gonna get this game on N64 again because it was so funny, and I think I would appreciate it actually even more now.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to see a remake. Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, obviously, because like, could you just imagine Breath of the Wild graphics with like Ocarina of Time?
Yeah,
it'd be amazing.
There's a lot of
Um,
keep going.
no, yeah. Dead Space, definitely want that remade. Just because I feel like the graphics today would look amazing.
Yeah.
If everything were updated. Silent Hill 1 and 2 would be a great remake because the fact that they were limited with loading screens because of the so they actually used fog as a they used it to like hide the fact that you couldn't load too far ahead of you. So
Mm-hmm.
the game would literally load behind the fog. Um,
Wow.
so I think that would be really cool to like redo Silent Hill, but like with updated graphics
Mm-hmm.
and have it actually more expanded, maybe.
Yeah.
So almost kind of like a reimagining. um, Prince of Persia, I'd like to see a remake, and Red Dead Redemption, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
I think.
Sorry,
No,
go ahead.
are you still listing? Sorry.
No, I'm done with remakes. I have a few actually reimaginings, but
Yeah,
you go ahead.
I have one reimagining, but I think horror games, especially like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, those ones I could see making a case for a remake. Because
Yeah.
like I imagine those games were scary then, but it will not have the same effect.
No,
Playing
I actually played Silent Hill 1 not too long ago on, I think it was like, I forget how, I think I was playing it on I don't even know how I played it, but I remember playing it and I was like, this is not nearly as scary as I remember it.
Yep. So I think those have a place in remakes rather than a port. But yeah. So what do you got for a reimagining?
Let me see here. Actually, wait, was there a remake? Silent Hill remake, first person remake of the original Silent. I don't know if that's actually real. I think that's fake. Oh, there's the Silent Hill HD collection. That's what it was. So there was a remaster. Oh no, sorry, it was a video compilation of remastered video game ports of Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3, but they didn't actually have Silent Hill 1. That's what it was.
Those are like reskins though.
Yeah, they're reskins. So I want like full on remakes. Now my reimaginings, I would love to see either GTA 3, Vice City, or San Andreas. Basically, I want them to take what they did for Red Dead Redemption 2 and throw that into any of those three games. The level of detail, the addition of more side quests, just completely like revamp that game to the level of detail that they've done with Red Dead Redemption. So even though they're taking the same game, they're completely overhauling the systems to make it more of a simulated, you know, experience.
I could be
Um,
remembering GTA 3 wrong, but I don't remember that dude having any dialogue or
no, he
personality
didn't.
whatsoever.
Completely silent, and I think that would be one of the games. Could be that one. That is one of the games that could be an amazing reimagining. Possibly giving the guy an actual voice. Expanding the city, like actually giving it, because like I think Liberty City was expanded when they did Grand Theft Auto 4, and Liberty City was the first. I think was the first time I played Grand Theft Auto 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine if they expanded 3's map with the size of 4's, and they put the level of detail that they actually have in Red Dead Redemption 2, that would be amazing.
Yeah, they would have to give 3 like an actual story,
Mm-hmm.
but I could see it working. I'm on the boat for 4. 4 would be dope because I already like all of those characters, but bringing them in to the modern day would be awesome because that's still a game
Yeah.
that's on my backlog. Like I've played it, but I never beat it.
It's really good.
Yeah, I really enjoy Nico and I enjoy Roman.
Yep.
They're a lot of fun, but I just never finished.
Yeah, the characters are classics. Like they're really cool.
That's really where they started diving into.
Yeah, they did. That's where they totally took a turn. I mean, actually, I feel like it took a turn once they hit Vice City, to be honest, because that's when they actually had Ray Liotta
Fair. Yeah.
come on board. Which Vice City, I think today is still one of my top favorite Grand Theft Auto games. Because I love that. Actually, I was introduced to so much music for that game, and I just remember listening to like the 80s music, and like it's pouring rain and I'm driving like a Lambo, like a 1980s Lambo, and it was just such a cool vibe.
Yeah.
Like I really want Grand Theft Auto 6 to go back to the 80s, like horribly. I think it'd be so cool.
What comes first, PlayStation 6 or Grand Theft Auto 6?
If Rockstar is smart, it'll definitely be Grand Theft Auto 6.
Like they only had one new game the whole generation, and it was a good one.
It was a great
It was
game.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
It's my favorite, like my top 2 of all time.
But That's too long. They have different studios too. Like,
Yeah, they have like 3 or 4, or like what, they have like 4 or 5 different studios.
they know that moneymaker's in the online though, especially
Yep, Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah. I only have one game on my reimagining list, and it's Pokemon.
Okay.
Game
Like
Freak,
the original?
like any of them. Like,
Oh, okay.
just reimagine the series. Like, if you like, they just redid. Yellow was pretty much remade into Let's Go, and the biggest change was instead of battling, you did it like Pokemon Go, where you just threw a ball. But someone
Yeah.
posted some screenshots on what Pokemon would look like on a Zelda Breath of the Wild engine.
Oh,
and
man.
that's the kind of game that we should be getting. What we get right now is pretty much the original game with updated graphics and more Pokemon.
I see. So you want like a completely overhauled concept of the idea of Pokemon.
Yes, please.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
It completely reimagine it. Like, you could start from game 1. I don't care. I don't need 800 Pokemon. You give me the original 151, but in a new way, and tell a new story. That's not just you trying to get 8 badges and beat the Elite Four. I am in. But
that'd be really cool.
Every game, like, it's hard to get into because every game I feel like I'm playing the same story. And then they just rename Team Rocket, and then beat the Elite Four and get all 8 badges in it. That's what, like, except the further I get into the series, the less I'm attached to the Pokemon because I stopped watching the show. And I don't know who any of these Pokemon are. And they ain't even have one game with Ash Ketchum. Ridiculous. They should do a game with Ash Ketchum.
Jerks.
I would play that game.
Well, Nintendo, if you're listening, get on it.
There's a ROM hack called Pokemon Ash Gray where you play the story of the anime.
That's cool.
I think that's super.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because right now I guess it's more closely following the manga. But it doesn't have any like heart, I feel like.
Gotcha.
I feel like there's so much opportunity, and like they're making so much money.
Yeah.
But
oh no, they totally are.
They could make so much more if they actually made a game. Like, it's not revolutionizing anything. It's par for the course every time.
Yeah, and well, it's funny because ironically, you know, the whole concept of a remake or a remaster is that it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of these studios don't want to take that risk and put a lot of money on a new IP or something new. So it's funny that we're, you know, talking about like, oh, you could do these amazing things with these IPs, but it's like, well, we don't want to take the risk, you know, or we just don't want to do that right now, or we don't want to spend the money and the time. And you know, it's unfortunate because that's why we're getting so many remakes. I believe it's the same reason why we get so many sequels, because no one wants to step outside the box and try something new because they want to make money. That's all they care about.
Yeah. Like Final Fantasy VII, the remake, like they added, not getting into the fact that they made it into 5 games so that you pay $300 for a remake of a single game, but they made each game. They expanded the content. They expanded the story. I care about characters that were like I dismissed in the first game. Like that's how you do it.
They made it worth the $60.
Yes, like I would. I'm gonna eventually probably pay $60 again to get it digitally, so I could just leave mine on display. I love the remake.
You can frame it.
I could. On Etsy, someone remade the PlayStation 1 cover, and I bought it, and it looks just like the original one, but it has the updated graphics, screenshots from the new game, but they kept on the back of the original game. There was a quote that said, "Quite possibly the greatest game ever made," and they put it on the back of the new one too, and it looks so.
That
cool.
is awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is great. And if anybody's listening, then you want to tell us your remakes or reimaginings you'd like to see, remasters, whatever, you can email us at contact@backlogendbeyond.com, and we will read it on the show. So moving on to our other segment, Retrospect, where we go back in time in 5-year increments for games that came out in the past.
Kept it.
I liked how you said that. In 5-year increments I had to keep that. That is so good. All right, well, starting off with 5 years ago, Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition came out June 23rd, 2015 on all platforms.
Well, so yep, the original came out in January of 2008.
Oh,
This wasn't even like a remake or remaster. It was a port. I guess, given your definition, it could be a remaster because it had new playable characters, new cutscenes, improved
okay.
graphics. But it essentially didn't add, or okay, it was a remaster. I guess you could. So I suppose that is noteworthy. It was nice that they added new playable characters and new cutscenes. Yeah, that's
Nice.
my fun fact for that one.
Awesome. 10 years ago, we got Sin and Punishment Star Successor, June 27th, 2010 on the Wii. I have no idea what this game is, but I saw it and I was like, someone might.
So I went on to Wikipedia, and what I found out was that it was a sequel to a Nintendo 64 game named Sin and
Oh.
Punishment, and that it got surprisingly decent reviews. The sequel. That's all I know about it.
Great. So all you Sin and Punishment fans out there,
Yeah.
this one's for you.
Their time to shine is now.
That's right. Okay, 15 years ago, Falcon 4.0 Allied Force came out on the PC June 28th, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Another game I have no idea what was about.
Yeah, so this one, it looks like it was based on a game called Falcon 4.0 that came out in 1998, and this collection was like a series of mods and improvements and official patches compiled into like kind of a re-release of this game.
Oh, that's cool.
And this was supposed to like bring in money so that they can make Falcon 5, but nothing ever came from it. So eventually the company deregistered, and yeah, so it kind of just disappeared. They were hoping.
Who was the company? Do you have that?
So the original Falcon 4 was from Microprose, and Lead Pursuit was
okay.
supposed to put out Falcon 5, but yeah, they disbanded, and it's not happening.
Well, that's tough.
Yeah,
That sucks. All right. Okay, here we go. 20 years ago, we got Diablo 2.
Yep.
June 29th, 2000.
PC game. I owned this game, barely played it because I got it because all my friends played it. Like they would have LAN parties and they'd all play D2 and raid together.
Nice.
Every time I looked for fun facts, it was all about the lore. So it was just a bunch of jumbled words. Like I didn't understand what was a name. But I thought the most interesting thing is due to its popularity, Blizzard continues to provide limited support for Diablo 2, including occasional patches.
Well, that's nice of them.
I know, like considering 3's out, they have that mobile game that everyone hated, and they announced 4.
Yeah.
It's nice that they're still releasing this.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and then last on our list, also came out 20 years ago, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out June 29th, the year 2000.
Yep. I was ready to call you out because there was like several release dates for this game, and I'm like, oh, here it goes. But this is the first North American release date, and it was released for the Sega Dreamcast.
Dreamcast.
Yep. So the Japanese Dreamcast version of this game had an online mode, which allowed players to fight each other via the Dreamcast modem or broadband adapter. But for unknown reasons, they removed the mode for the PAL and US release. So they just put the logo in place of the menu option, and they pretended it didn't exist.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
I see nothing here.
Right. So apparently, like, they just didn't see money in the effort. But now, of course, fighting games today so popular to play that way.
Right.
It could have been like a pioneer.
Oh man. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for going back in time with us for retrospect. That's my delay sound effects. Oh man. All right. Well, thanks for listening to us this far. If you have, you get a trophy for putting up with us for this long. We're going to move on to our last segment, Give It an Hour, where we play a game that either Jeff and I suggest for each other, or this week we kind of switched it up a little bit, and Jeff decided, you know what, let's play the same game and let's talk about it. So before we actually get into this, we played Inside
by the company that made Limbo. I forgot the name of the company.
I forget. Oh, look it up. We're gonna be talking some major spoilers. So if you do not want to hear spoilers, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. If you don't mind listening to Inside spoilers, this is what we're gonna be discussing, because there's plenty to talk about in this game, and wow, did I have fun.
Yeah. So I'm gonna write down the time right now. We are 51 minutes into the podcast, so you know to censor when I say what the like
I'm into that.
I'm playing this game and then I'm having a good time, and then the ending happens and I'm like, is this did I fall asleep?
Dude, that ending, it's funny because I looked it up and I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But if you didn't look up the ending, I don't know. I applaud you for actually knowing what happened, because that was very like avant-garde, you know? Like,
yeah,
it was out there.
It was like, it popped up on most memorable gaming moments of all time, and I see why.
Oh yes, I'll never forget. I'll never forget the smushy, what's that movie where everyone's like attached to the mouth and butt?
Human Centipede.
It's like Human Centipede, but it's like a chewing gum version of that.
Okay, I'm sorry we're talking about the ending first, but
it's fine.
That's like the most important part of the game. The fact that every time you fell long distances, you hear the collective voices of the blob go, like they're in pain. Like, if you
hear like bones cracking and blood splattering, and I was like,
if you haven't played the game and you're still listening, at the end of the game you swim and there's this human blob. It's like, it's flesh with legs and arms sticking out of it.
Yeah,
and you get sucked into it, and now you control this blob, and you wreak havoc in this whole factory. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun as the blob, just running through walls.
Yes, but smashing through windows and like running over people.
It was like I was playing the whole section with my jaw on the floor.
Yeah. Me too. I think it's great that the whole time you're playing this kid that's so helpless and so you're actually like you feel like this level of like anxiety the entire time because you're just so vulnerable, and then out of nowhere you're like brought into this monster and you're like, all right, now I get to get back at everybody that was killing me the entire game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and like I really enjoy these games because both of their games now you play as a kid. But the
and they're
deaths are so brutal. Like,
oh my god. Like, we had strangulation, we had eaten by dogs, blown to pieces, cut to shreds, drowned. I mean, and it's brutal. Like, the strangulations were horrible to watch. Like, these guys are literally like choking this kid, and he's like grasping and his feet are kicking, and I'm like, oh my god, this is horrible.
And like, you don't kill anyone in this game. Like,
no, you were avoiding everyone.
Yeah. I'm still sitting on the ending. I don't know if I can call this a great game. Like, I had a lot of fun. I guess that's what matters.
Yeah, that's all that does matter, really. I think. So if you look up the ending, basically what people say is that the entire time you weren't actually controlling the boy, but you were the blob controlling the boy. And the blob was controlling the boy to get to the blob to let it outside because it had been trapped inside as like this test experiment for all these years. So, and I guess the way that this is kind of confirmed is that there's actually a second ending.
Yes.
To where they're these brain, like these mind control units. And if you turn all of them off, your character, the little boy, just falls down dead, which basically says that he's actually being controlled by all of these mind control units. And once they shut off, he is shut off as well. Okay. So that's kind of how people have confirmed that as being the ending.
So, yes. But if I don't know if you saw it, when you were falling through the ceiling, you land on a diorama that is identical to where you land at the end of the game. Down to the light shining at the edge of the shore.
Did not notice that.
So, the argument is that the entire game is a simulation of this company. So like they were playing 4D chess. The blob was controlling the boy, but it was really an experiment by the people who coerced the blob into doing this.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I really enjoy the balance of storytelling and gameplay in this kind of game. Like,
yes,
they're very like there's no dialogue in either of their games, but they they tell a story in like you root for the character, because like there are very well timed like escapes in the game. Like
yes. Oh man,
like
are there?
you're like in the beginning you're running from someone, and if you trip over this branch you die, but if you get it right it's just quick enough to outrun him.
Yes.
So like you feel like you're in it with it.
Yes.
In both of these games, and they do it with very minimally, like it's like show not tell. Like it's very
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the whole thing where you're saying like, you know, it's like this last minute. I think the most anxiety inducing thing I've ever played in a game was the sirens, the underwater sirens. The long hair, like from the girl from The Ring, super creepy. But like you're trying to get away from them, because if you do not get away from them in time, they will grab you and drown you. And it was one of the most scariest things ever, because the whispering gets louder as they get closer, and there'd be moments where I would just get up to the ledge just in time before they'd reach me, and my heart would like stop. I was like, oh god, I did it.
Yeah, so I got stuck on one like so many times.
Yeah,
I died. Like there was the one where you had to like open the door, go down and press the button for the door to open, and then go back down and press the button again, and like it took me like 15 deaths to like work it out in my head.
Yeah, because you had to like lure the siren
back
way
to the other side.
Yes,
and then when you died, you had to start over, and it was really frustrating.
Yeah, it was.
I think the dogs scared me the most. Like
they were creepy.
Because when you escape the dogs, it was by like 2 steps.
Yeah, it was that fence sequence we had to jump back and forth to like take the boards off.
These dogs are idiots.
I was so scary though.
Yeah.
But no, I loved the puzzles because they were so challenging, but they weren't like challenging enough to where like you gave up all the time.
Yep.
Like there was a couple I had to look up, obviously, but some of them you could just figure out by exploring enough.
Yeah, I didn't. I was very proud. I didn't look up any of these.
Oh, good for you! Wow.
Yeah,
I'd look up a couple.
It wasn't, and there was none of them where I felt like I had to put it down and come back another day. Like if I worked hard enough, I was able to work through it. The one that I mentioned with the picking up the door and the button,
right?
Like that was just persistence.
Yes.
And
wow,
like I was surprised I figured it out. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, no, it's just, and that, like honestly, the thing that I took away from the most of it was not only the anxiety that I felt, but the sound design, or I should say lack of sound design in some cases, was phenomenal. Because there'd be certain sections where it was completely quiet, and all you could hear was like this slight ominous tone, or you'd hear like the ambience of the room that you were in, and it really kept you on edge because you weren't exactly sure when the music was going to pick back up. And the times that they did bring the music in, it was like perfectly timed, and just it didn't deter from your game, but man, it just played so well with every move that you made. Like the sound design will stick with me forever because it was just so well done.
I also really enjoyed everything had a purpose. Like sometimes I would pass like a rope that I couldn't reach, and I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah,
but like I can continue on the game, and eventually you would come back to that rope.
Yes.
So it didn't spoon feed you, and it made you really think like, well, why is that crate?
Yes. That I loved that too. That's what I meant by like, I guess by if you explored enough, you would eventually figure out the puzzles because you could put 2 and 2 together. It's like, wait, there's a crate here, there's a rope over there. I'm gonna drag this crate all the way to that rope so I can reach it.
This when you pull this lever, that thing comes out pretty violently, and it was the thing that hit the block.
Oh yeah, that was insane. You had to like time that to like launch it up and over.
I spent so much time on that because I didn't realize, because every time it would launch up, I stood on it, and I'm like, it's not going over. I don't know. I don't know how to do this. It was the closest I've come to Googling it, and so my plan was start it, climb the ladder, and catch it. And so I started it and I climbed the ladder and then it flew over my head and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot.
That's amazing. It flew over my head. Yeah. See, I kind of saw that, like it actually could get the trajectory. So, but I did the thing where I held it after I turned it on,
Mm.
and I would just kind of like throw it, and at the same time when I would throw it, it would just kind of slowly fly up and over that section.
Got it.
But yeah, this game was great though. The art style is amazing. It hit the spot perfectly with the tone that they were trying to set. There were times where it'd be nice because you actually felt like you could relax a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, okay, this is puzzle time. Okay, now this is survival time, and it was kind of clear those breaks.
Yeah.
Which was nice. But yeah, great game. I had a lot of fun with it, and regardless of how random the ending was, I loved it, and
I would say not sure. I guess I did like it. I had a lot of fun. It's just I guess that's part of it. The big shock of the ending.
Yeah. I'm just glad it wasn't longer because I don't know if I could have spent too much more time doing the same thing. Like, I think the time was just right.
Yes. I like, because some games, I get to a point where I'm like, I wish this would wrap up. Like, I enjoy what we're doing, but I was ready for it to be done.
Right. Yeah, no, I was too. Like with the blob set, because the thing is, like when with the girls, when I was playing it, they were asleep, and I was like, man, this better be it because they're gonna wake up any minute now, and if I have to put this game down and I'm like this close to the end, I'm gonna be really pissed.
Yeah. Because like the first, and it's so different from the first game. Because spoilers for Limbo, like it just ends with you finding your sister. Like,
yeah, that's right.
And
it's a happy ending.
Yeah, it was really nice, especially after getting impaled by spiders constantly.
And spikes and all kinds of stuff, and like your head would get decapitated. And
I think I was hoping that game would eventually lead to a sequel where you could play as both of them, so you could play as a team.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because I enjoyed watching you die in that game.
Didn't we like take turns playing that game?
I think we did, but like it was mostly you because you had bought it, you had discovered it, and we were just sitting in your room like taking. I even think Randall was there.
Yeah, that does actually ring a bell now. That's awesome.
So yeah, cool. So that was
good
Inside.
Game, good choice.
Yeah, and I'm glad it was short enough for both of us to finish this week.
I know, that was actually really nice because that would have sucked if like I wouldn't have finished it, and you're like you have to hold in the ending.
I was like, if he doesn't finish this, then I can't talk about this game.
You're like, Nathan, Last of Us Part 2 can wait. You need to finish this now. All right, so what is your game for this week?
So I have a list because I'm not sure if you played it or not.
Okay.
The first game that I'm going to ask you to play is Jak and Daxter.
Never played it.
Great. They remastered it for the PlayStation 3, the whole trilogy, but they ported it for the PlayStation 4, so it's PlayStation 2 graphics.
Cool.
But it is on PlayStation 4.
All right, great. So I'll have to download that then. Let me make a note.
It's PlayStation 2, so it's a pretty small file.
Sweet. Okay, cool. So Jak and Daxter. Is it the trilogy or is it just the first?
Just the first
of the trilogy.
Just the first game, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so your game for this week is Mad Max.
Oh.
This game, I think, I don't know, because I think you're going to find it very familiar because it's the same company that did the Batman Arkham Asylum game. So the combat is going to feel very familiar. Whether you actually enjoy the gameplay and the loop, I don't know.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed the world, and when you actually get your car upgraded enough in that game, it is a blast. And honestly, there were times where I actually played the Mad Max soundtrack from the most recent film.
Nice.
I would play that one cue that's like the most well-known cue during that big chase scene. I would play that sometimes during gameplay, and it would totally pump me up. Okay. So I had a blast with it. It's actually, I think, one of the closest games I've actually gotten to platinuming, along with the other 2 platinums I've made.
Dang.
So that's a rare one for me.
Okay, well, I have it on Steam too. I'm not sure if I want to do it there or on PlayStation. I will play.
Cool. Well, I bought it on PlayStation, so you feel free to do whatever.
All right.
Well, that wraps it up. I am the Early Bird Nerd. I'm on all of the social medias: Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. We also have Backlog and Beyond are also on Twitter, and on Instagram.
Mhm.
You can find us pretty easily. Jeff, you're Zavadabadoo.
Zavadabadoo.
Zavadabadoo. Again, you can reach us at the email contact@Backlog and Beyond. If you have any questions, if you want to discuss something, if you have a topic you'd like to hear us talk about, feel free to write to us because we would like to hear from you. That is all we have for today. Jeff?
5, 6, 7, 8.